Right, hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you happen to be. My name is Paul, I'm also called Knick Knack, and I'm the brains behind the Daily Teaser. It's a fun daily brain teaser quiz. I'll have that floating around up here at some point, because I wanted to tell you about something else. I watch films occasionally, and I try and tell people about them. Again, I'll have my write-up of Wonder Woman 1984 lurking about for you to look at. But I also watch TV shows. Recently I've been watching Star Trek Discovery, and I'll get to the next episode as soon as I possibly can, because I usually watch it of a Saturday night, which is when I'm recording this video, but instead I'm taking a little time to do the extensive video version of my review of the BBC TV show Doctor Who's New Year's special, Revolution of the Daleks. And yes, it looks good. Let me tell you about it if I can. The New Year's Day special. The New Year's Day special, Revolution of the Dalek, opens a long time ago and far, far away. Cheltenham, 2019 in point of fact, and reminding us with a little summary that last year's New Year's special saw the Doctor, Ryan, Graham and Yaz, Jodie Whittaker, Tosin Cole, Bradley Walsh and Mandip Gill defeating a reconnaissance Dalek in Resolution. The opening scenes then show us how 6 hours and 7 minutes later, a van turns up for the gutted remains of the Dalek, with the driver being ordered to take it to the mysterious Depository 23. The driver stops off on the way, of course, for a cup of tea at a roadside cafe, and comes to a very sticky dead end after being poisoned so that someone could steal his truck. Post-titles, we're introduced to the UK's ambitious technology secretary, Joe Patterson, played by Harriet Walter, meeting Leo Ragazzi, Nathan Stewart Jarrett, and Jack Robertson, Chris North. Robertson was in Arachnids in the UK in the last season, so you know, and it's cropped up again. It seems he and Ragazzi have a prototype drone they want to show to the minister. They also have a deal for her when she wins both the leadership elections and the general elections, and it's a deal that's going to make the UK very secure. 79 billion light years away, and 10 months later, the Doctor is trapped in a Judoon prison, whiling her time away and getting to know her rather gruesome fellow inmates. Whilst back on Earth, Ryan and Graham have found out Jack Robertson's got access to things. And with the Doctor herself missing, the best they can do is talk to Yaz. A Yaz stuck in a spare TARDIS that the Doctor's given her, obsessively trying to work out where the Doctor's gone, and obsessively wondering what's happening and spending nights in the TARDIS. The only thing Bradley Walsh's character and Tosin Cole's character can do to grab Yaz's attention is show her the footage that shows her Robertson has access to what looks like Daleks. If Earth needs a hero, Yaz thinks, it needs it now. Now, what did I make of Revolution of the Daleks? Captain Jack's return, the mysterious Depository 23, Jack Robertson's reappearance, the new Dalek designs, the team breaking up, the regulars' performances. What did I make of it? Well, I'm disappointed we didn't get to see Depository 23, although I get the feeling that might be developed later. There's a whole load of stuff here. Let's start with the biggish one. We see Jack Harkness, Captain Jack at your service, breaking the Doctor out of prison and telling us roughly how, telling us how he got into the prison, but not being too specific about why he's breaking her out of prison. Unless I've completely missed something. Please leave me a comment if I have. I could have been happier if I'd have noticed something a little more explicit about that. In spite of that, it is fantastic to see John Barrowman back as the ever flamboyant captain. What's more, I think he's been used both well and differently. This episode had something of a Torchwood touch, I feel, and that's inevitably in part because we've got a very well-known, very American-sounding actor prancing around and doing his thing. Doctor Who's blessed by him. But again, let me emphasise, blessed, but blessed differently. In the Eccleston and Tennant days, the Doctor over the years has never liked using a gun. We've known that. We've seen that. And the 9th and 10th Doctors both said that specifically. So Jack, much like Alex Kingston's River Song, is there for the few times the Doctor won't use a gun, but needs somebody around who does. Captain Jack's the regrettable bullet, to quote the old line from The Prisoner. In Revolution of the Daleks, though, Jack's got a slightly different role. He's not necessarily the required gun. We know he can do that. I'm sure he does. But he's become the school reunion era Sarah Jane Smith. He's there in part to move the plot along, break the Doctor out, help fight the Daleks, but he's also there to warn the regulars. He has in particular that life in the TARDIS is going to be difficult. Yeah, there was a hole there. We're not sure why he breaks her out, but he's around there to fill a hole, so to speak. There's other points. One minor one, the spare TARDIS the Doctor gave Yaz, the one which reuses the Joe Martin control room from Fugitive of the Judoon. It's a central plot point of the episode, so I'll keep it up to a minimum. I'll try not to say more about it. But I have to ask, where did the Doctor get it from? I don't remember it getting a mention in Season 12. I don't remember seeing it mentioned as to how she got it in this episode. It's a hole. It's a little minor point. Let's talk about the other Jack in the box, shall we? Jack Robertson, played by Chris Noth. Is it North? I'm not too sure how it's pronounced. It's Jack Robinson who got away scot-free by the end of this episode. I think there's possibly something to talk about there. If you've seen the classic Doctor Who story, The Invasion, it features a character called Tobias Vaughan, who runs a big electronics company. He's a big businessman, much like the Jack Robertson character, and he basically sells out humanity to the Cybermen before deciding to help the Doctor repel a cyber invasion. Now, granted, the Master behaves in a similar way in some of the Third Doctor stories, but it was Vaughan that caught my attention. I think it's possible to compare Vaughan and Robertson. They're both humans working with invading aliens to boost their own power. But by the end of the invasion, Vaughan's repented of his actions. By the end of Revolution of the Daleks, Robertson hasn't. What I'm wondering right now is this. Are we due another appearance from Robertson? It strikes me that his arc is a lot like Daniel Barnes, the Lenny Henry character from Spyfall Part 1 and 2. Robertson's arc isn't finished yet, and I think it may have a few more miles to go in Series 13. There's possibly more to say about them. I'm not too sure what, though, for the moment. We'll leave it there. But I briefly wanted to touch on the new design of Dalek, based loosely on the ones used in last year's episode, Resolution. If I've understood things quickly, the inside of the classic Dalek was cramped, so it helped that the operators, everyone will know about John Scott Martin, he's the one that springs to mind. So the classic design was cramped, so it helped if the operators were short. Now, from what I've seen of the new series Brass Daleks, they were designed to be eye level to Billy Pipe, to look menacing. Given that they had animatronic domes, and that average height has gone up over the years, it meant, from what I could understood, that the new Daleks were more cramped. That's why I think we had the new Paradigm Daleks crop up. They were taller, and gave the operators more room, and that also led to the hiring of the 5'11" Garen Gillan, they would still look like they were capable of menacing a companion. At any rate, Revolution of the Daleks sees this new design of Black Dalek, animatronic Black Dalek, modelled on the equally animatronic Reconnaissance Dalek. One's the same height as the standard Daleks, but because they're effectively remote control robot puppets, they're not ones that cramp the operators. The operators aren't inside them getting cramped and a headache. In terms of both practicality, that's great. And in terms of looks, again, absolutely bloody fantastic looking things. To my way of thinking, it's unfortunate they've been destroyed at the end of the episode. But I thought they were fantastic looking, and I'd love to see more of them. As a final point, we saw it coming, didn't we? We knew that Bradley Walsh and Tosin Cole would be leaving in this episode. And I have to say, they're going to be missed, but they had a very good send-off. Especially when you consider that Cole in particular got some great dialogue and put in a superb performance. Considering the poor sod was eye candy in Series 12, it's a shame that they've only remedied that in his last episode. Great performance, great bit of writing for him. He and Bradley Walsh did great, I think. We also know that Mandy Gill will be staying on as Yaz. I couldn't be happier, to be honest with you. Over the past couple of series, she's not had much to do because Walsh and Cole have grabbed all the attention. So I'm hoping in the upcoming 13th series, writers are going to be able to focus more on her, develop her character more, which is something Chibnall seems to have done with this episode. She's looked stronger, and I think that's going to be promising well, I think, for ongoing stories. That brings me to the last point. Paul, I can hear you say, what do you think? What do you know? What do you reckon? How was Revolution of the Daleks? There are possibly better episodes. I can't think of any off the top of my head. There are possibly worse episodes. Quite a few Matt Smiths, possibly. There's possibly a hole or two lurking around this episode, but on the whole, I have to say, I felt Revolution of the Daleks was a great episode, very well written, very well performed. The effects were superb, I felt. It was a great little fantastic episode. We know Series 13 is going to be a shortened one at 8 episodes, but if those episodes are as good as Revolution of the Daleks has been, it's going to be a very good series indeed. Let me know what you think, whether you agree with me or not. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought of Revolution of the Daleks. Have a good day. Have a happy new year. Right, just as one last thing, John Bishop is going to be featuring in the new series as a companion called Dan. I know some fans don't like the look of it. Some fans think it's going to be okay. I think he'll do well. But let's fight for Series 13 before we get critical, okay? Have a good day.